Hello there, my name is Thunder, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. Today, I'm playing through a game that's been requested by quite a few views on YouTube here. A game that I've been looking forward to going through for quite a while now. This is Import Tuner Challenge, released in 2006 on the Xbox 360, published and distributed by Ubisoft under license from Genki. Of course, Genki is a name you probably recognize a little bit better because, yes, in fact, this is actually a Tokyo Extreme Racer game. In fact, this was the last proper one that was released by Genki in 2006. This was known over in Japan as Shutoko Battle X, and basically the reason for the name change, instead of it being Tokyo Extreme Racer, probably just has a lot to do with Ubisoft thinking this would be a more catchy name for whatever reason. I think if they called it Tokyo Extreme Racer X, that would be slightly more appealing. Because it doesn't really make sense to call this Import Tuner Challenge when the game takes place in Tokyo. So, you know, that's kind of a thing that just doesn't make a lot of sense. So anyways, of course, the point of this LP is you're going to be going through the quest mode, showing all the rivals and all that sort of stuff. So let's get right into it and select a car. Now we got a selection of vehicles that we can choose from. Now we have 3 million CP to start, and of course that not every car is available to start with right away. So let's just focus for now on the vehicles that we know we can buy from the start. First up, we have the Mazda RX-8 at 1.5 million CP. It's not a bad starter car. It could be a little bit better. Its handling is a little wonky, and it's not as quick on the top end in stock form. Then we have the Nissan 180SX at 1.36 million. This is the cheapest car you can start the game with, but of course, as you can tell, it also makes the least amount of power. It is a little bit lighter than the RX-8, and it has more torque, but yeah, you're going to have to put a little bit more into it just to get a bit more power into this car. But maybe with it costing the cheapest, that probably kind of balances it out a bit. We also have another Nissan, the SEMA. It's kind of like a four-door executive car, kind of like one of those Japan things. Plenty of power, but it weighs a lot. So you're definitely going to have quite of a disadvantage there in terms of weight. Yet another Nissan here, the Fairlady Z, better known over here as the 350Z. 1.98 million CP, has a pretty good amount of power. Pound-feet of torque is okay. Weighs a little bit on the heavier side, but not too terrible compared to some of the other cars. Next car we can buy is yet another Nissan, the Silvia S15. One of the lighter cars, and power is kind of on par with that of the RX-8. Only costs 80,000 CP more than it. Yet another Nissan we have here, the Skyline Coupe, known over here as the Infiniti G35. Makes quite a good amount of power. The weight's a little bit heavier than that of the 350Z. Kind of bogs it down a little bit, though, as a result. 2 million CP. So, of course, it is well within reach. Then we have the Toyota Aristo, another four-door executive car. Again, plenty of power, but is quite a bit heavier. Not as heavy as the SEMA, so this, if you were wanting to play the game with a four-door executive car, this would definitely be the better of the two choices. And then but there's also a third option here, the Toyota Crown. This has slightly less torque, but slightly more power, and actually weighs less, so this might be an even stronger choice. And with it only costing 2 million CP, it's one of the cheaper options too. And finally, we have another Toyota, the Supra, the Mark III. It's, again, another pretty strong vehicle with a good amount of power and torque. And it costs $1.94 million. In my opinion, if you're going to start this game, the Fairlady Z and the Supra are really the two best choices. They're kind of very equal in terms of one another. But for me, I would be playing this game with the 350Z because that's what people requested. I did a poll in my YouTube community tab. Check that out if you ever want to see updates and stuff. And I had people ask which of these two they'd want to see, and with a vote of 54 to 46%, the 350Z's the winner. So that's what we're gonna do. What is that license plate? PPK May. That's a bit weird. Yep, you just like in other games, since Tokyo Extreme Racer 0, you can edit to have like a Japanese license plate. Because I don't know why they ever Crave ever thought having California license plates in the first two Tokyo Extreme Racer games was a smart localization idea. Of course, they didn't do that in the original Japanese releases. It's just a weird choice. But there we go. We're gonna buy this car and we're gonna get right into the action. So the game's basically mentioning about how there was once a man known as King Speed who was the fastest in Tokyo, but disappeared without a sudden warning. We'll see what happens to that guy later on in the game. But for now, we gotta do a bit of a practice run with this guy here, and simply with the license plate known as Emperor, driving a pretty bog standard Nissan Skyline coupe. Basically, I guess the whole idea is this is to give you, for those who are new to the game, a bit of an idea of what to expect from the game. So how this game works is just like any other Tokyo Stream Racer. You and your opponent have what's called an SP bar. The SP bar is basically like your health bar, and the whole objective is to try and stay ahead of your opponents, get as far away from them, and basically outperform them in order to drain their bar. And once their bar hits 0, then you've won the race. Of course, if the AI is ahead of you and your bar reaches 0 first, then you will have lost, so keep that in mind. You can also lose a bit of SP from smacking into cars and walls and stuff, so try to be careful when you drive. But other than that, it's pretty simple. It's just like any other Tokyo Stream Racer game. And there we go. He's just giving us a mention about having a good race, and then he gets the idea that we kind of want to be the king of the hill on the metro, and that everyone who races through the roads thinks that way more or less, but barely anyone ever actually makes it. And he suggests that we'll have to try to take over the C1 loop, defeating the guys known as Bloodhound, Midnight Cinderella, and Platinum Prince, which are considered to be the fastest racers on the C1. And if I take them down, it might start to build something up. And if I don't, well, that just means I'm another run-of-the-mill street racer. That's all. Ouch. So with that, we get right into the garage with all of our little settings here. Now we do have a bit of money, so I am gonna upgrade the car a little bit. Of course, I'm gonna focus here on the engine because this will give the car a bit of a nice little bump in terms of power. I can also do that here, but I'm not going to quite put that stuff on. What I'm actually going to do is let's see, what can I put on it? Let's put a clutch on it, a level 2 clutch. Don't think I can really afford anything else here. Nah, we won't worry about it. We're obviously gonna get more money as we go on, so you'll get a bit of a deeper look as we go through the game here. I'm just going to go into the settings here, because I think if I can, there's a slight thing I want to change. Yeah, there we go. Traction control. Let's turn that the fuck off. I don't need traction control. Anyways, so with that, let's go course in and see what we get. Now, Tokyo is the only route in this entire game. Nagoya and Osaka from Tokyo Stream Racer 3 are both gone. It's just settled back into Tokyo. But this time, there's a bit of a difference. There's actually 3 time zones, where certain rivals will only appear at certain times of the day. There are some that will appear regardless of what the time is, but for the majority of them, they'll only appear at either night, midnight, or daybreak. So, let's go right into the nighttime, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to focus on each of the rivals that are available in a section to start with. So we're going to go night, then we're going to go midnight, and then we're going to go daybreak. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do 2 runs through the C1, just like 2 separate C1 runs, probably per part, and then we'll continue on with the next parts after that. Now, one of the good things about this game too is it actually does not matter if you decide to go C1 inside or outside, or inner and outer. The rivals that you've come across will appear on either end, so it's just like the first game again. So this is actually quite neat that they did that. So for this first run, we're going to go on the inside. So that little video just kind of gives us an idea of the 3 that we're going to be having to look out for as we go through the runs here. Now, just like any other TXR game, if you've never played one, basically to challenge your rivals, you just got to drive right up to them. When their information appears on the screen, for this game, just press the A button and you initiate a challenge by flashing the headlights, and that's how you start a race. So first up we have, of course, it really shouldn't be surprising, it is Rolling Guy. They're back, and we're going against number 5. Is that actually, in this game, there's actually only 5 Rolling Guy members, which is still more than one, which is still one more than the first game, which only had 4. But it's also one down from 203, which had 6 members. The reason I know this is because I played the game enough to actually remember that. So basically, again, the same thing. Just try to get as far ahead as your opponents as possible. The further ahead you are, the faster their bar will drain. And of course, basically makes it easier, so it means you don't have to drive as long to get the win. So once you win, you will collect a certain amount of CP, in this case 50,000 CP for beating Rolling Eye number 5 here. And of course, basically that's how you earn money in this game. Just keep facing rivals and just build your money up. And if you manage to keep winning races in a row in one night, you'll actually start to build a win combo that will start to add a little bit of a multiplier to the amount that you earn. So if you definitely are someone who's looking for try and build some money, don't be afraid to repeat some of the people you face. It's a little bit easier the further you get into the game when you've unlocked more routes, obviously, but it's definitely something worth looking out for, because of course you're not gonna get as much money for repeating the same people you face, but you'll still get some from doing so. So don't be afraid to face rivals again if you really feel like you need some extra money. Just keep in mind it won't be as much as the first time. So the next one we get up here, almost overshot it. We get here is Rolling Guy number 4. Yet again, of course, an A86. Very weird that they didn't let you buy this car regularly. It's you get certain people driving it. So you might be thinking, how do you get the car yourself? Well, you'll find out a little bit later on. Now, I only was talking for that bit because of just to try to do like a quick rundown of everything. But for this playthrough, unlike my older TXR 1 and 2 LPs, what I'm going to be doing is when I get after I complete each race, because there's always a bit of distance I have to drive to get to the next rival, I'm just going to cut out the bit of me driving to the next opponent, because that just takes time. So, and you know, that's not exactly something that everyone wants to have to watch all the time, is me just doing that. So I'm going to be cutting that bit out, and so we won't have to really worry about that, because, you know, that just takes time, and you probably want to see more of the action, because that's the more important thing. So there we go, 83,000 CP this time, more CP than number 5, and I'll see you at the next rival. Okay, so next up we have a black S15 Sylvia here from a group called Changing Stage, with this guy's name being Digital Killer. I hope digital does not be killed, because that's pretty much the future of how everything is these days, is digital. Yeah, of course, I'm just making a very bad joke. So this guy seems like he does have a bit of some power put into his S15 Sylvia, because he's actually kind of leaving us a little bit, but because they tend to slow down for corners, and of course being someone who's a little more willing to go a bit more aggressively, I thought, well, we're just gonna do that, because that's our way of kind of, you know, putting more of a challenge to our teammate. Now, yes, as you can actually see, by the way, there is an interior view of this game. It's very basic. There is no steering wheel, and, you know, it definitely looks dated, to say the least. You can use, like, the right analog stick to kind of look around you. This is the only camera, by the way, where you can do that. In fact, in all the other cameras, the look back button does not work. Because you have the rear view mirror, which is kind of the game's way of telling you how to look back. If you're out on this camera, you can just press in the right thumbstick to look back, because there's no mirror there. Just to give you a little rundown there. So here we go, 97,000 CP this time, so we're getting a little bit more, and our win combo has now gone up from 1.0 to 1.1. So let's keep at it and get some more money and beat some more people. Alright, so next we got here is a yellow RX-8 from a group called Speed Planet. Very basic looking car. It's called Eternal Student, this guy's name. And there's actually something, if you pay attention to the license plate, you'll notice it has the name of the team as well as a number. The number designates what position they are on the team. So this guy is number 7, which means there's There's at least so far, at least that I know of, there are 7 people on this team. Now, of course, that could differ if we see someone with an 8 on their car, but we have yet to see that. So if you want a bit of a quick notice on who it is in the team that you're facing when you look back in the rival list, just take a look at their license plate, and that'll give you the number of who they are on the team. It's kind of one of those little subtle things they did, but I actually quite like that because it just kind of makes organization and stuff a little bit easier to know exactly who on the team and what position they have that you're facing. It's one of those little neat touches that I like. It's kind of the thing that makes makes things better. I say better. It doesn't really add anything to it apart from just being a nice little subtle touch. But don't worry, don't mind me. I'm kind of making a few mistakes here, so this isn't going quite as fast as I would like. But we are starting. I think now we are starting to pull away from that RX-8. Would have pulled away faster if I wasn't smacking into the wall a bit like an idiot. But of course, that's bound to happen. I'm not a perfect driver by any stretch of the means. Also, Toyota Vitz in the traffic, because there's actually more than just yellow official vans in this game. That's always one of my most amusing parts about THR3. I didn't even look at how much money I made because I was going through that so quickly. Oh well. So this guy is just right up here, so I don't even have to worry about cutting this out because he's just right here. It appears to be a red 180SX yet again from Speed Planet. There's a number 8. So yeah, that at least this team we know for a fact at least has 8 people. Wild Clapper, again red 180SX. Quite a few modifications done to it visually. And he slowed up my traffic because I was right there and he didn't want to just slam into my car like a dunce. So, that makes things a little bit easier. That's fine with me. Let's just keep the momentum up. Hopefully don't smack into walls this time, and then it should be over hopefully in no time. Especially because we got a bit of a slightly sharper corner here, and I took that pretty much as good as I was going to get it. Yeah, there we go. See, now we're starting to build up a bit away from this guy here. Exactly where I want to be. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so yeah, pretty much as clean as a whistle that time. Awesome. I think our win combo will probably be up to 1.2 now. Yes, it is. 100,000 CP, right on the nose. Very neat. Now, we got one more blue arrow on here, so let's go and face them. Alright, so the last guy we got here, it seems to be yet another rolling guy, number 3, and another green Corolla 11. Not as neon bright as last one, but still a rather bright shade of green. So one of the things I actually kind of like about the rolling guy in this game is they're not as slow as their previous encounters. As you can see, he's actually giving a little bit of a surprising initial challenge to my 350Z here, but now, of course, I start to pull away. I actually kind of like that they did put a bit more power into their cars. They're not like as basic simple as they have been in past games. Now in this game, they at least put up a little bit more of a fight. They're still not hard to face by any means, but it's nice to see that they're made to look like they at least can put up a little bit more of a fight. But anyways, that's not really important right now, because what's important is the fact that we're going to seal the deal here with a win. Oh god, so we have a slide there. Whew, 135,000 CP, because that guy has 90,000, 22,000 for distance, and then of course the 1.2 multiplier bonus. Nice. Now, just before I return to the garage, there actually is one more thing I'm going to be showing in this. So, let me get right over to that, and you'll get a bit of an idea of what that is. In fact, I actually don't even think I really need to do much for jump cut, because it's right here. Yes, there we go. There is a parking area in this game, similar to THR3 and whatnot. But, as it turns out, it's got a lot more to it than just being a place where you can just do a bit of setup on your car. There's actually more to it in this game. In fact, we even get a bit of a greeting message from Bloodhound about wanting to face him, but he won't face him because not getting any vibes, and yeah, we're gonna come across them later. We got some more people we gotta beat. So first, let's look at this. We got a little bit of an information tab, which is basically just gives you a bit of a rundown of things that can happen in the game. It's telling us about Speed Planet. Like, this first guy is mentioning how there's specific guys, Drifting Striker, Shiki the Whiz Kid, and Grim Redpoint, who apparently will go at you all at once. And then there's something about Then there's people who will just talk about various stuff to kind of give it, I guess, a bit more life. So it seems like there's a bit more of like a kind of like a world here. So a lot of times you'll get stuff people who don't really add to anything, and then you get people who will add to things in the game. So just one of those kind of neat little things. But of course, the main point of the parking is to have some PA battles. There will be some certain people who will only appear in the PA here, such as one of the Wanderers here, in fact, Lonely Wolf, who we can't face right now because the requirement is a long ways coming. Now, I do remember the Wanderer requirement for this guy offhand. I have to have completed at least 100 races, so we're still quite a ways away from that. So if we try to, say, for example, if we try to challenge him, he says, you still don't have enough experience, go do some more real world racing, and then come talk to me. So it'll be a while before we get to him in his Skyline Coupe. But we do have some people we can face here. A couple members from Changing Stage here, both driving S15 Silvias. So let's start with number 7 here in this blue Silvia, Perfect Beginner. Okay, so, whoops, of course you won't see that, it's more of just sending me saying whoops on my end. So there we go, pretty contested. I think I got the slight edge here. Once I start I'm gonna try and get my car right up in front. Just give it a bit. Alright, there we go. Now just, all I gotta do at this point is just keep leading, and that should be more than good enough. And now he's, of course, starting to fall back a little bit because I think his car is a little bit on the lighter end in terms of how done up it is. So, you know, that's fine with me. That doesn't particularly matter. Ooh, I could have probably taken that corner a little bit earlier because I've just smacked it to the wall there. Oops, that was a bit dumb of me. That's fine. It could have been it could have been worse. That definitely could have been worse. So regardless of that, how much are we gonna make this time? 107,000. Of course, he's a earlier member of Changing Stage, so that's not really surprising that we don't get as much. Again, like the money amounts that you make in this game, they kind of start off small, and of course they'll kind of build up over time. It's definitely still nowhere near as bad as TXR2. So, oh whoops, didn't mean to do that. So let's go face the other PA battle person here in Changing Stage, Sweet Monster, who she drives a white S15 Sylvia. I'm pretty sure it's a she, judging by the little caricature there. Okay, so another simple one here, just a simple dash to clear the person's SP out. Now the thing also to note about some of the PA battles is you might think it's just more of the same here with just facing it with try to drain their meters in here. You'd actually be surprised because there actually is a little bit more to it. And we're not going to see it with these members here, but some of them are not always the same. You'll see what I mean when we get to some others. Excuse me. But for now, that's not really the focus. The focus, again, of course, is to just come away with the victory. Now, my original plan for doing this game was to try and focus on certain teams at a time, but I kind of found that kind of made things really disjointed because they tend to show up when they want to, and it's usually you kind of have to get through certain people first before others will start showing up because they don't really disappear in this game. So you'd have to go back into the garage to do that. And there we go, 150,000 CP. So just back over 1 million CP, which we'll definitely be using to put into the car. Now, that's pretty much going to be it for this first session. Now, of course, like I said, in each part, I'm going to be doing 2 runs just to kind of, you know, add a little bit more to the game. Because, you know, this is a bit of a lengthier game, and I'm sure some people wouldn't mind seeing quite a bit going on with this. So what I'm gonna do is return to the garage because we're probably not gonna be seeing anyone else. So we got 8 wins that night, and our BAD name, I believe, is still exactly the same, being up from Tokyo Greenhorn. What exactly does that mean? I have no idea. So what I'm gonna do here is let's put some better tires on the car. Just makes it a bit grippier. There we go. Anything we can do to the body here to make it a bit lighter? Yes, we can. That should strip a bit of weight, make the car feel a little bit more snappy. So definitely do that. And I'm going to add an LSD to the car as well. And just for a little bit of a small touch, I'm gonna put a little lip spoiler on the car just to give it a little bit more of a look. Because why not? So there we go. That is done. Now let's go back out. And this time we are going to do the C1 outer. So let's do that. Okay, so immediately coming out, we are greeted to a very, very bright pink Sylvia. Another member of Changing Stage number 4. Pink with a carbon fiber hood, and interestingly enough, it is Pink Lily. So far, we have faced number 7, 6, and number 7, 6, 5, 4, I believe now. And they all appear to have a an S15 Sylvia, so we'll have to see if members 3, 2, and 1 complete that trope, because it looks like that's where we're going with so far. In fact, this driver is actually putting up a little bit more of a fight compared to some of the other Changing Stage members, but that, of course, won't last for long as soon as we get to the corners here. Whoops, that was a little bit too much there on the corner there. See, I can already tell right away that this is not only better to do corners, it's a little bit quicker because of like the body tune. Just, you know, it doesn't. Sometimes you just know the pace of your car well, and this is one of those cases where I can already tell it's certainly a bit quicker. But yeah, we're definitely now starting to pull away there, doing about 152 miles an hour. Oops, got a little bit too close to the wall there. Not that it really matters. We were quite a bit ahead anyways. And there's the win, 122,000 CP. So a bit more heftier in terms of CP for that time. So that's a good way to start off. But will that keep up? Will that amount keep up as we get to the next driver? Okay, so we got another Speed Planet member here in a black 180SX. This is Slow Starter. So that's not exactly a good name to have if you're a slow starter. And what are you talking about? That's not a slow start. That's a pretty good start, considering the vehicle that you're in and what I'm driving. The name is a lie. I've been bamboozled. I don't even know what I'm saying really, but yeah, it's whatever really. It doesn't really matter. It's just it's probably like one of those things that you're not really supposed to pay much attention to, but it's just something that kind of seems off place when you kind of look at it through that sort of perspective. It's just one of those things, really. But it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so all we gotta do now is just keep at it, and hopefully we'll get some more monies. Maybe more than 122,000. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll find out. Because whatever I can do to put to this car will definitely help. Alright, so let's see here. As the bar drains. Ooh, close! 118,000. So about 4,000 shy at the first one. So it's close enough. But not close enough to this next person. So give me a bit. And it's another rolling guy. It's number 2. Which means we'll probably be facing number 1 after this. Yet another Curl 11. It's this time being blue. It does seem that the team mostly likes the Curl 11s because the only Sprinter Trudeau we've seen so far is number 5. Because 4, 3, and 2 have all been the 11. Maybe number 1 might switch things up. We'll have to find out. And yeah, because it's rolling guy, it's kind of just another easy one, really. It's fine. It's kind of good that way. Oh, jeez. Anyways, that doesn't really matter too much. I keep saying that. I don't know why it says that doesn't matter what matters, yada, yada, yada. So I realize this is becoming a bit of an unnecessary trope. I don't exactly know why I'm going for that. Just don't mind me, okay? Just forget. Jeez. I'm just being silly and stupid. Anyways, we get another win there. 163,000 CP. Very nice. Of course, that is slightly helped by our win combo. And with that, we're going to have a slight departure from our usual business, as it's now time to face the leader of Rolling Guy, number 1. And goddamn, look at his car. It is so much different from any Rolling Guy design I've seen before. That thing just looks, in my opinion, absolutely sick. Probably my favorite design of any Truno out there. Initial D, eat your fucking heart out. And he's actually quite a bit quicker, too, than the rest of his team. In fact, so this is actually nice to see. It's nice to see a Rolling Guy member who's actually giving me a bit of a fight at the start here. But of course, I start to pull in because, you know, I'm more aggressive through the corners. That might have been a little cheap to do, but, you know, of course, that's not really what I'm worried about. And it looks like we're going to pass by another person here. Looks like it's changing stage, because that's an S15 Sylvia. So what I'll probably do is I'll hit the reverse after this and just drive right back to them. Just makes it easier than having to drive all the way around to face them again. Actually, because that's just more of a redundance. There we go. We are doing pretty well, though. We're right where we need to be. Rolling guy number 1 is about to become rolling guy number none. That's very bad now that I've just said that. I apologize. But it doesn't matter. We won. 203,000 CP for that. Pretty good. And now, time to turn around and get back to this guy. And yes, as by me saying that, this game does let you just drive backwards. It just warns you that you're going the wrong way is all. So yeah, is it changing stage? Yes, it is. Flash Blood. It's number 3 with a yellow S15 Sylvia. The most visually done up so far. It's got, it doesn't have a wing on it, but it's got notable wheels and some bumper stuff. So it looks a little more flashed out than some of the other members. And this is actually a little bit quicker too. At least it seems like it. Also, I like it's called Flash Blood, despite the car being yellow. Maybe it's the wheels being red that might have the hint that. Yeah, this guy's definitely got a bit more momentum to him. I keep saying guy. It's just more of a guess. I'm just going really by what I would imagine, judging the name, really, I guess. But I could always be wrong, and I'm more than happy to be wrong. But yeah, so that one was actually a bit more surprising. We're putting up quite a decent fight there, but of course, because they seem to be so cautious around the corners, now of course I can just do it easily. It's so funny because it's the exact opposite of Tokyo Extreme Racer 2, where in that game they just go balls out into corners, and because of some BS they don't lose any kind of speed, so it's ridiculous. But in all the later Tokyo Extreme Racer games, especially with this game here, they take the corners really cautiously. So once you get past them, once you get up to corners and you outdo them, you kind of really stay in front. So this is, you know, it might seem challenging, but it's not that challenging of a game. Oh well. 189,000 CP. That's pretty good. Now, on to the next one. And we got a green 180SX. This is, oh, Drifting Striker. This is Speed Planet. This was the one that they were talking about. 3 drivers at once. We gotta beat Drifting Striker, Shiki the WizKid, and Tragic Red Point, all of which are driving 180SXs. So, things have gotten a little more interesting here. We've got Drifting Striker with the green one, I want to say Tragic Red Point's the red one, and then Shiki is the dark purple one. Now, of course, because of the little bit of me trying to fend them off, oh, we got a bit of lag there. Too many cars on screen. I would say that it's probably, you know, Striker he's kind of able to build some distance, but of course now we're in front. Because I'm facing 3 people, I wonder if I'm going to get 3 times the payout. Yeah, it looks like Shiki and Tragic are definitely out of this, whereas Drifting Striker is close enough where he's not really losing anything. Oh, but he did slow down a little bit here. But now he'll start to reduce because of the corner here. There you go. So the other 2 they're already out of it. They're done. So it's just Drifting Striker now who's actually holding their own compared to the other 2. So it's kind of interesting. The one I had to initiate the challenge is the one that's actually giving a bit more of a challenge. So that's actually kind of amusing in a way, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. Because now we're getting into more the slightly more technical section here, and that's, yeah, now they're starting to fall behind. And now, finally, after quite a bit of driving there, the bar is really starting to train down at this point. Which is good. It's a good thing. Because, you know, gotta get that W. 3 Ws, in fact, technically, if you really think about it. So, let's see. Yep, we got 3 times the amount of pay. 530,000. That's a good payday. I'm very happy with that. But, right now, let's add to that by doing the next guy way up here. And it looks like we got yet another change of stage, number 2, which means we'll probably be facing the leader after this. It's Rising Bear in a blue Sylvia. Again, a little bit more visuals done to the car compared to some of the others. And away we go. Oh, they're trying to get into because they don't want to run into the Vits, but they, of course, they don't really have any room to go, so that didn't really work out in their favor. So now all we gotta do is just, I'll just try to block Rising Bear here. It's no biggie whatsoever. And now we should hopefully slowly start to climb away. So they are keeping pace, but for how much longer? That's the thing too I noticed about that's different about this game. It seems like they could still be a certain amount of distance and not lose any SP, whereas in some of the other games, if it notices you're very slightly back, it will decrease. You have to have a little bit more space this time for it to start affecting. So definitely a notable difference there. That's fine. I just gotta bring it through the corners here. Oh, I did not calculate that very well at all. Smacked it to the back of a Vits there. My bad. It's fine. It's fine. No, nothing to worry about. Okay, come on. This is catching right back up because of that mistake, and that's slightly annoying me now. Oh, I gotta be careful there. Man, this guy is surprisingly putting up an interesting bit of a fight here. Hopefully once we get to this corner here is when I start losing them. Oh yeah, definitely. Did that much quicker than they did. That should be the pace I need to close the door on this battle. It's definitely one of the longer ones. Could have been shorter if I did smack into the AI like the traffic like an idiot. So yeah, 266,000. Still another pretty decent payout. And with that, oh, we're not done with the team yet. Looks like oh, I know why. We actually would have to go in the parking area for this, but although I do believe we would have to be on the other way because this isn't quite the same parking area. It's a bit of a different one. So let's check our little information section here and see if anything is. Oh, see, there's a mention about the guy called Lonely Wolf, and there's the mention they have to complete in at least 100 races. This is one of, in my opinion, the best parts about this game. It actually tells you the requirements you need for the Wanderers. You don't need to look up some bizarre guide to try and figure out who you're supposed to face. It makes things so much better. Because, man, is it such a weird thing you have to go through in order to face these people. It's just, ugh. And, of course, they're just mentioning all these sort of things, yada, yada, yada. Just people I've talked to, yeah, and all that sort of stuff. Person wants to remind me to wake them up from a nap. And there's there's the other wanderer, Garage Haruo, who won't quite face us yet because apparently we have to fiddle with our car's configuration. If we come across a person in the information section, they'll explain what exactly it is we need. But here we've got two drivers here from a group called M.O.E. First of which being Professor Logic in a black Toyota Supra. Looks pretty basic, but who knows what actually might be under the hood. Yeah, it looks very basic. So, remember what I was saying about it being slightly different in certain scenarios? Well, here's one of them. This is not an SP-based race. We don't have to worry about how far ahead we have to be for an extended period of time or how much winning by. This one is all about just getting to the goal first. So if you notice at the very edge of the map on the top left there, you'll just notice a blue dot. That blue dot tells us where the finish is. So basically the race, we're just, trying to beat Professor Logic here to that end goal first. So that's what we're going to be doing. And thanks to that corner, we're already ahead, so we're already looking to be in good hands. So yeah. In hindsight, I probably won't do I probably won't do 2 sessions per part because this has actually been quite a bit longer than I was anticipating myself. So I think I'm gonna keep it to one race session per part because this is gonna be a bit of a lengthier part. But it's also part 1, so it kind of gives you a really good introduction to the game. Because that was kind of I think one of the reasons I wanted it to show 2 parts, so I could really show off quite a bit of the game to start with, to give people the idea of whether or not this is a sort of thing that would appeal to them. So, you know, that's kind of the deal I'm working with here. But you know, it is what it is, right? Just, but I'll put a pinned comment down below to get your opinions. Because keep in mind, I want to make sure everyone's willing to watch this, but sometimes not everyone wants to sit through like overly long parts. So that's just one thing to like kind of I'm trying to mention when I say that. And there we go. There's the little finish line. There we go. An easy, somewhat easy one. Where win combo is 1.5 now, so we're getting an extra half of what we would normally get. So from this, we would have normally gotten about, I'm trying to do the math in my head, that was about 150,000 CP or so, 151 maybe. But with the win, we got 226,000. So that's very good. We're definitely making some money, and that's going to be good for upgrading the vehicles. I say the vehicles. I only have one vehicle. What the hell am I saying? Yeah, it's okay. Whatever you say, boy. Anyways, so let's do the next one, which is Black Zero Fighter in a Mazda RX-7. So this one is actually back to a regular SP race, so not like before where we had to get to the end goal before the Super Driver did. This one is just a case of, yeah, we need to beat them. We need to drain their bar. And of course, yeah, we're being a bit left behind here initially. Oh god, that's way too far over. Oh, okay. It looks like he was so far over to the left lane. I thought he was gonna smack right into the divider, but no. I guess it was kind of the illusion of where he appeared, maybe. Yeah, this guy has definitely got pace, more so than the Supra. So definitely some early challenges to show off in this first part too, which is nice. Of course, now we get to the corners, and this is where I start to shine. In my still very, honestly, sleeperish looking 350Z. I keep calling it 350Z, even though technically it's a Fairlady Z because of Japan, but I'm too used to calling it 350Z, so whoops. Alright, so with that, let's just continue to push and push. At this point, they're far back. We pretty much got this now in the bag. It's a good challenge at the start there, though, but we've got it now. And with that, 283,000 CP. So yeah, 2.1 million. That's pretty damn good, I would have to say. I'm definitely going to be using that money to build up the car. And with that, you could say we could be done, but hold on a second. There's the team leader of M.O.E, Gothic Path, in a white Skyline R34. So this should be the most interesting of them. And of course, because it's the team leader, we get the little fancy intro. The intros do get more fancy as time goes on, but right now we're just focused on beating this. So yep, just like before, it's yet another path to the finish. I think it's about the same route as the Black Supra, so... And man, you could just see how that Skyline gets off the line. The Skyline is definitely one of the stronger vehicles in the game. It's definitely one of the ones to get if you really want an easy ride. But right now, that's still some ways away. So the focus at the moment is, of course, to well, keep building this car up, and then hopefully, once we can afford one of the better cars, move over to one of that. I could get this Skyline, and I might, but I have another vehicle on my mind because I remember it being pretty good when I last tested it. So, but even despite the fact that it's the Skyline is giving quite a bit of challenge, I'm still better through the corners because the AI is just that overly cautious. And there we go. We're now in front of the R34. I will admit, I forgot that a team driver of any sort shows up this early in an R34. I thought the R34 was one of those, yeah, you're going to see it a bit later on because it's a better vehicle. But no, we already got one still pretty early on in the game. Alright, so just a little over a mile to go, and then that should be it. I believe that'll be it after this. Unless there is something else to it, but we will find out. Yep, and you can see them if you pay attention to that rear view mirror. They're slowly climbing, but I'd say honestly, considering the pace that I'm going and what the amount that's left, it's not going to be enough for them. We got this. We have got this. All right. And with that, 361,000 CP, pretty good. And with that, let's go back to the PA, just get our little message, and then probably call it a session. I've turned into a real player. I was always a real player, you know? Of course, there's nothing in the information. It doesn't really change, regardless of what you do. So, let's just see if there's anything else I have to do real quickly going out. There wasn't. So, 12 wins today. That's quite a bit. So, 20 wins so far. 2.46 million total prize CP. That's quite a bit we got. And our name is now Odd Dancer, which is a little bit weird, but whatever. So, and Rolling Guide number 1's car is now available. Yes, his car is special enough that it's a car we can actually buy, which we are actually going to do for a specific driver later on. Not quite yet, but it'll come pretty soon. So yeah, that's going to do it for the first part. And by the way, stickers, because whenever you beat a team. So, that's going to do it for today's part. Longer part than I was expecting, but of course, again, I wanted to kind of show this game off to kind of give you guys a bit of an idea on whether or not this might be your sort of thing to watch or not. Let me know down below in the comments what you think, and probably we will just go to one session per part, because this was, again, longer than I expected, but it's okay. It's just one of those things that you find out when you play through it. But thank you guys so much for watching. You enjoyed this, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and hit the bell icon to get notified on when I make a new video. Check out my links down below. I've got a Patreon if you want to help support the channel, Twitch to see streams whenever I stream, Twitter to follow me on social media, Discord to come hang out and chat, and a huge shout out to both Toxic Honey Badger and Monday Bear 21 for their awesome pledges over on Patreon. Thanks again. I'll see you on the next one.